Captain Buffelli and I were discussing how we can better police that area, our Chinatown area.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Chinatown, but like I said, and you see when I talk about the project, I call it the Asian Multicultural Center, or Asian Multicultural Center, and that's what I call Chinatown itself. But the Safe Cam project. But I'm going to say Chinatown because it flows off the tongue a little easier. It's easier to talk about. Yeah. But we talked about how we can police Chinatown differently and bringing it online with other neighborhoods that are similar. So, I've lived in Vegas my whole life, and I've been with Metro for 18 years. I worked this area when Chinatown was new. So as a new officer in 2000, and I say newer, and I've seen it grow exponentially. We have different new areas, new culture, or new centers, a ton more restaurants and businesses than when I was first there. Yeah. So in discussing that with Captain Buffelli, we're like, how can we utilize technology better to serve this community and to strengthen the relationship with the community as well? So we were discussing how, at the end of the day, Chinatown is a tourist corridor. It is a tourist district, right? Yeah. We have tour buses full of people that are getting dropped off and going to different businesses, and they have lots of money. They don't always speak the language, and they also can have distrust of police and government agencies. So a lot of times what we're seeing car break-ins, we're seeing other types of crime that don't go reported. It doesn't go reported. So how, in order to strengthen that relationship with the community and use technology to help fight crime, we were talking about, well, why don't we do what we've done at other tourist corridors, like on the Strip in Fremont Street, and put up some of these overt crime cameras. And when I say overt crime cameras, what it is it's a box with a camera that's HD. It tilt, pan, zoom, and it has red and blue lights on it. So everybody knows it's a police camera. And that camera is ported into our real-time crime center at HQ. So there are officers watching all of these cameras. So the cameras on the Strip, the cameras downtown, and they can switch between cameras and see what's going on, and it's police officers watching it. So they know what they're looking for. And even if somebody isn't watching that specific camera at the time, because we only have like 12 or 13 officers that are watching maybe 300, 400 cameras, right? But a couple of things. If someone calls and reports a crime, they switch to the camera immediately and see what's going on. The other thing is it's always recording. So it'll always be recorded. So our detectives will now have more evidence to solve crimes when they happen. But we've also learned that cameras, especially with the overt cameras with the red and blue lights, they can help prevent crime. Because a lot of times it's the threat of arrest that prevents crime, not the actual arrest. So knowing that we as a police department are actively policing that community can help bring crime numbers down. And we've seen that on the Strip, and we've seen that downtown, and those cameras have helped with that. So Captain Buffelli and I, we discussed, how we can extend that program that's on the Strip to Spring Mountain. Now there's a couple initially some technology hiccups. So we don't have the fiber that they have on certain parts of the Strip, meaning the signal that they can tap into to put those cameras up. So what we have done, and we've been able to put an antenna, or we're installing an antenna that can project a signal to the cameras that we're installing. Now that signal, we can't go further than Decatur right now, just because technology is only allowing us to put this until Decatur. I understand that Chinatown extends to Rainbow, and I would like to have more, and we're looking at ways to extend it. But as of right now, I can only say that this program that we're putting up goes to it will only go from Valley View to Decatur.
Do you have any future plan about the Rainbow?
We would like to extend it to Rainbow, but as right now, I don't want to make a promise because it's the technology, and until I can find maybe another place to put it to extend a camera or something, I can't say that we will or not. But like I said, that is a goal. I don't want to say it's the plan, but it's a goal. I would like to be able to extend it, but I can't give a timeline of when it'll happen. But I'll tell you, the area that we're looking is that we have, that's our most concentrated area for, the auto burglaries, the quality of life crime, where you have auto burglaries. But then we also have violent crime that happened. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a Chinese tourist couple, who was robbed at the Bank of America. And the female victim was shot.
Yeah.
So that is the stuff that keeps me up at night as the administrative lieutenant for Spring Valley Area Command. That's the kind of stuff that compels us to continue to work with that community to try and find ways to prevent crime. Because, it's not a win for me that we did arrest that suspect. Within that night, we arrested him. We've connected him to other robberies in the area. He's going to jail for a long time. But that to me isn't a win. A win for me is it never happening in the first place. A win is somebody, a tourist or a local or a victim and their family having to go through that heartache of being the victim of the crime.
Yeah.
I've had my car broken into before, and although it isn't a violent crime, it still feels like an invasion of privacy. It still is hard on you. So each one of those, it's important for us to prevent, and that's why we're doing what we're doing with this project. Do I think it's going to be the end-all be-all and solve all the crime? No, I don't. But I think it will help.
Yeah,
I think it will help that
helps
area.
a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why the camera project came to be.
Yeah.
Now we are using the LVMPD Foundation for funding.
Wow. What's the estimated cost?
So right now, the cost is anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000,
30 to 40,000.
and we're halfway there.
Okay.
So we've already
Where's the
received
money
donations. We've already received donations from some of the property owners and businesses. Yeah, so we have increased our community-oriented policing team in the last six to 8 months from 3 officers to 7 officers.
Oh,
And
3 to 7
And
officers.
I'm ensuring that they are out making contact with the businesses and patrolling the area. We also that is in our area that or Captain Buffelli is putting our officers in to ensure we're doing enforcement. But what I always say, or what I ask, is when you're the victim of a crime, you need to report it. So Captain Buffelli, myself, in our analytical section, we decide where to put officers based on reported crime.
Yeah.
So when crime isn't reported, we don't know about it. Well, we're responsible for all of Spring Valley Area Command at this station. So we're responsible from Flamingo to Charleston and I-15 West.
Okay.
So we're not just responsible for Chinatown. So if I don't know there's a problem, then I'm not going to put resources there. So what I ask in return for that is, we've seen an increase in people reporting crimes. I have seen an increase in car burglaries, because I knew that we've had an increase anyway over the last couple of years there, but I knew there was a whole lot more that were happening that weren't getting reported. And some of that was through through community meetings and outreach. People say, hey, we had 6 cars broken into at Chinatown Plaza, and I'm just using that as an example, 2 weeks ago. I'm like, were they reported? Well, no, they weren't. Well, then I don't know about it. And if I don't know about it, then it's hard for me to allocate resources if I don't know there's a crime. So what I'll ask is, and to anybody reading this, if you were the victim of the crime, report it. I understand that, okay, well, it's maybe not worth it for my insurance purposes, or I'm never going to get it back. But the other thing of that is that I can track that, and then we can now know there's a problem.
Yeah.
And if I know there's a problem, then we can look at video, and then maybe we can apprehend the people that are committing the crimes and bring those numbers down and make sure that we're solving these crimes too. But if I don't know about it, then I'm not going to put resources in an area. But I do know about it. I mean, I do know that in Chinatown we have seen, I would say the most impact crime we have there is we have a lot of car break-ins.
Yeah.
On top of that, then we have a couple of violent crimes. I'll also ask that people practice safe banking, meaning don't handle a lot of money out in public.
Yeah.
Don't use ATMs after dark.
Yeah.
But we're a 24-hour town, so if you have to, be aware of your surroundings. See who's around. If you see a couple shady characters in the corner of the parking lot, don't get out with your money and put it in. Find somewhere else.
Yeah.
So crime prevention works best when we work together.
Yeah.
So crime prevention is a police issue. It's a police problem, but we can be so much more effective when we work together as a community, because we're all members of this community. I'm born and raised here, but I oftentimes am a consumer in the Chinatown area. There's different martial arts gyms that I've attended down there. There's restaurants, great coffee.
Yeah.
It's a vibrant area, and it's only going to grow. And why I say that is you have the Instagram craze of people taking pictures of their food, and so you have more and more people that are going this area. And then at night it changes into more of a nightlife, and you have clubs and karaoke and other areas that are bringing a lot of people to the area. So what I'll ask is, if a person that doesn't speak English wants to report a crime and they don't have access to somebody that can interpret for them, what they do is they call dispatch, And the first thing they tell dispatchers is they need to say the language that they speak in English. So if you speak Chinese, say Chinese.
So you have Chinese interpreter?
Well, what we have is we have a language line program where the dispatcher will then connect them to an interpreter over the phone, and then they can interpret for them.
Oh,
And then they
that's
can
great.
report it. And then those police officers will arrive, and if we don't have any officers available that speak Korean, Chinese, Japanese, or Thai, or Tagalog, what they'll do is, okay, here's the language line interpreter. Okay, and then we can communicate through that. I understand that can be more difficult.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is it's worth it. It's worth it
because
because
it's
then
worth a lot.
and what I ask is, we will do everything we can to solve crime and arrest people that are victimizing members of this community. But if you're the victim, even if you think, well, this isn't going to get solved, but it may help prevent the next one.
Yeah.
So please report it to us.
想收看更多维加斯华文短片，请浏览新闻网 lvcnn.com。谢谢。